Right now, let me introduce you to our guest joining us for all the show, as always on a Wednesday, former Conservative Special Advisor Claire Pearsall. Very good morning to you.
Morning.
Well, where do we start? Now, I know everyone else is starting, all the way other media, but we're not normal media, are starting with what's going on in NATO and defence. These are very big issues. We've talked about them an awful lot. I would like, though, to discuss where we are with welfare reform, because fundamentally, we can't afford to rearm until we've got some money to do so. Given we're spending, over 100 billion every year in just paying the interest on, not paying off our debts, paying the interest on our national debt, which is more than double the current defence budget, which tells you something. We need to cut some other spending. Now, we would all like to be able to get treatment if we've got cancer. We'd like our children to be educated. There is an awful lot of waste to be got rid of. No government that's come in and said they're going to deal with waste. Even, by the way, Trump's government has managed to actually do it. Good luck reform if they do get in and they do try and do it. Hey, I'd love to. I will come in and head that department for you. I'm sure we can talk audience to come in and sort that out for you, no problem. But welfare is a huge ballooning cost for the state. Now, part of that is pensions. It is people getting older and they need more help. Fair enough. I think that's a good news story, right? We're living longer. This is a good thing. Shame a lot of us aren't living longer in better health. That's something that needs to be tackled. However, we've also got a huge number of working age people who are sitting on their fat backsides, often they are fat backsides, and not doing anything. We've also got a lot of people who are disabled and claiming sickness benefits. But we've also got a lot of people who are claiming those benefits who would not be what I think most people would regard as unable to work. We have something like 1 in 8 people claiming these sort of benefits. So it's up to 30% in some cities. Yeah,
it's enormous.
The idea that 1 in 3 working age people have some disability or sickness that prevents them from working, frankly, is a nonsense. And anyone who thinks that is the case is living in cloud cuckoo land. It's unsustainable, it's unaffordable. Keir Starmer and Liz Kendall, the Welcome Pension Secretary, they have put forward a set of welfare reforms to personal independence payments, to sickness benefits. Their plan is to get 800,000 people who would otherwise be able to claim, not claiming these benefits. They reckon they're going to save 5 billion quid from the welfare bill by 2030. It will still go up by, even if they do this, 13 billion quid a year, every year. By 2030, so it's not even touching the size. But the welfare bill is not going to come down; it's going to go up by a lower amount. He's facing a huge threat to his authority as Prime Minister. More than 120 MPs, including committee chairs like Meg Hillier, who chairs the Public Accounts Committee for years, have signed on to a bill, or to an amendment, I suppose call it an amendment, which would basically throw out their reforms like that. First of all, can you explain what this bill is? Because it's a special kind of parliamentary procedure, but also how significant is this, given that we are not even a full year into Keir Starmer's premiership?
Well, if we look at what the amendment actually is, it's something called a reasoned amendment, and this is where parliamentary nerds like myself get quite excited at this kind of process, because what a reasoned amendment is changing the wording of a motion. So if you have a motion in front of the House, which is what this welfare reform bill is,
we're going to do X.
We are going to do X. A reasoned amendment comes along and is basically the parliamentary equivalent of saying yes, but no, we don't like it. So it changes it from being supportive to rejecting it. Now, if that passes...
And that will go before the full vote for the...
Absolutely. Now, so you have to have your amendment selected. So there's a whole procedure still to go through. So Keir Starmer's not off the hook yet, but it's also not deemed...
But I think there are 130 MPs in total, 120 Labour MPs who signed this. It would be quite extraordinary if Sir Lindsay Hoyle, the Commons Speaker, didn't agree to this.
Absolutely. But it is obviously a matter for the Speaker. He will go into conference on Tuesday morning next week and see if that amendment will be selected. Now, if it is, it goes in front of the House of Commons, and that's where the real problems will start for Keir Starmer, because there is enormous pressure upon him to get this bill through. As you've just said, we need to look at
this kills reform. It off completely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, OK.
Absolutely. And so this would look like a confidence motion, despite every cabinet minister being out on the media saying, no, it absolutely isn't, it's fine.
Except one MP claimed that a minister had said to them, this is effectively a confidence vote of the Prime Minister.
Yeah, and that's what it is. And you've seen it with the Conservative Party over the past 14 years.
And they've called it this, they say it's flagship reform. I mean, it's nothing of the sort. It's not. It's literally fiddling while Rome burns level of reform.
Yeah.
But if he can't get through even that tiny amount of reform, He has no authority.
He doesn't, and his backbench MPs are now feel emboldened with what's happened with the winter fuel allowance when they took it away and they all had to take the grief off their constituents, and rightly so. Then they came back with a U-turn. So I think those MPs are saying, well, if it gets really difficult, we know he's going to U-turn anyway, and we've got nothing to lose. And I think they're now realising that quite a lot of them are not going to be cabinet ministers ever.
Yeah.
So they've got nothing to lose. So they're going to stand up for this, and it wasn't in the Labour manifesto. They think that they have the power.
Nothing was in the Labour manifesto.
No.
But again, at the end of the day, you know, they're going to be facing, if he's got a budget, you know, that's coming up, or, you know, spending, whatever the latest fiscal event in the autumn, Rachel Reeves announcing that. And you know, even the stuff they're announcing, and we'll come on to this in terms of NATO, this 5% of GDP pledge, I mean, not till 2035, and it's meaningless, a lot of it's not actually defence spending. It's going to be far too little, far too late. But there ain't any money for any of it. No. I mean, nothing, and pledges mean nothing if you haven't got the money, you know, hey, you know what? I'm going to buy you a Ferrari, Claire.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. That's my pledge. Well, if I haven't got the money to buy you a Ferrari, then it's meaningless pledge. And that's where we are in terms of defence spending. And we definitely don't have the money when we carry on spaffing, whatever the term is, money up the wall on perfectly able-bodied people and able-minded people not working and living off everybody else. I mean, this is one of the issues, isn't it? I mean, look, he's got a working majority, Keir Starmer, of 156. Yeah. These MPs voting against it. Kemi Badenoch, the Tory leader, has basically said, look, I'll vote for you, I'll support you so you can get your measure through, but it has to go further, faster, you have to pledge this and that. So conditions. More cuts. He's not going to agree to that. It's probably likely to be something that was brought up at PMQs today. It's actually deputy PMQs again, with again grandstanding Prime Minister on the world stage rather than taking questions from backbench MPs. No, it's an important point, how very convenient.
Yes,
Angela Rayner's there again, but I'm assuming not Kemi Badenoch, maybe Mel Stride. The Shadow Chancellor.
Yeah, we're not sure, are we? We haven't been told yet. So he knows.
He knows his welfare though. So I'm wondering whether he'd go up on that. But again, votes next Tuesday. They could pull the vote. They could. But if he backtracks on this, I mean that U-turn over winter fuel. Well, again, that was a good U-turn. But he shouldn't have made the mistake in the first place. But the idea that any other Prime Minister would be. Other than Liz Truss, that any other with a working majority that he has be unable to get through what he has called a sort of flagship welfare reform after all these big debates and things he's a laughingstock at this point.
Yeah, he absolutely is, and it's quite interesting to see the behavioural change within the Labour Party. So if you speak to MPs, and I overheard a couple walking down a corridor, so I was listening into their conversation, they are in public place. They are unimpressed that the Cabinet are not communicating with them. They are unimpressed that they cannot get through to number 10 to ask what's going on, how can they help, or what can they do. And the only time they ever hear from people is to be told not to do something. Yeah. So they're feeling very unloved.
A lot of arrogance in number 10. Yeah, and again, and they haven't got mandate from the electorate. They haven't got the love from the electorate. It was we don't want the Tories anymore. We need to punish them for failing vote, not good Labour one. Yeah. I mean, I was a political journalist working in the Commons when Tony Blair was in for his first year. The feeling, the authority that he had and that Gordon Brown had, so different. Well, look, we need to save money to spend money on things that really matter, and and also, by the way, and give people their money back that they're paying massive taxes for and not feeling like they're getting anything. Small point worth making. But one of the things we do need to spend more money on, I believe, is defence. We've got the NATO summit. We've just been seeing actually I've got in The Hague some big photo of. I couldn't see quite where it's kind of screen above me. Couldn't see quite where Keir Starmer was today, but certainly in the official photo op when they arrived yesterday, he put himself in the back row. Mate, you have the nuclear deterrent. You're a permanent member of the Security Council. You're in the front row, mate. You're in the front row. Macron's in the front row. So he doesn't even understand. I don't want to see the British Prime Minister in the back row behind. With all due respect, Latvia and Estonia. With all due sodding respect. Yeah. We're a player, you're not, that's how it works. I mean, again, he doesn't understand these niceties. I mean, Trump does. So he turns up. Some choice language. Should we have a little listen? Because a lot of this is about what's been going on in Iran. There's got to be focus on Ukraine, but a lot of it's what's going on in the Middle East. Let's have a little watch and a listen while we were on air yesterday. Donald Trump being asked about the ceasefire that didn't at that time appear to be a ceasefire between Israel and Iran.
You know what we have? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
I mean, it was certainly very choice language. I'm always amazed that politicians don't swear more in real life, but there we are. But I managed not to do it on air, and I'm a potty mouth off there, I can assure you. Now, I mean, UK's been told they need to prepare for a wartime scenario. That we're thinking Europe. Donald Trump has basically made it really clear, I don't really want anything to do with what's going on in Europe. My mate Putin in Russia, you know, he's the victim in the Ukraine war as far as Donald Trump is concerned. But he does get it on Israel and Iran. He's been praised. We've had Mark Rutte, the Secretary General of NATO, a message he sent to Donald Trump, which I imagine he planned to be private, which was read out by Donald Trump. I mean, this is, "Dear Donald, congratulations and thank you for your decisive action in Iran. That was truly extraordinary and something no one else dared to do. It makes us all safer. You are flying into another big success in The Hague this evening. It was not easy, but we've got them all signed on to 5%. Donald, you have driven us to a really, really important moment for America." I mean, it goes on and on and on. He knows how to play and how to flatter this guy, and clearly everyone is just treating him like the king. You know, that's what they're doing. Should they be doing that? Is that what's right? And are they right to sign up to this 5%? Well, apart from Spain, 5% of GDP?
Yeah, I think we've underspent on defence for decades, and so is Europe, and we are by far...
Germany especially.
Absolutely, we're better. I mean, when you look at the amount Germany hasn't been spending, and you look at the wars that are on your doorstep, and it's very easy when it's been peacetime to say we don't need all of these armed force personnel, we don't need jets, we don't need tanks, all the rest of it. You know, war has changed right up until the point where it hasn't.
Yeah.
And I think that realisation to people that warfare on the ground hasn't gone away. There are always going to be people willing to throw missiles and rockets at you. So you need to defend yourself. Yeah. So I think that's absolutely right.
And provide that deterrence. And again, a lot of that is the willingness, not just the ability. We're going to be buying a whole load of jets to expand our nuclear deterrent. So jets carrying tactical weapons. There'll be 12 with an F-35As. Yes. They'll carry American B-61 nuclear gravity bombs capable of killing thousands. I mean, I haven't got a clue what any of that means. I'm not going to pretend. I mean, a lot of the mail, I love it. A lot of the mail presenters going, yeah, of course they're carrying the F-35. They don't know what they're talking about. They really don't. But look, I'm all for us having a more reliable and deterring nuclear capability. Spending more as long as we spend it on the right thing. But the question is, I mean, that 5% that we're promising, the only country not offering it is Spain. Here's the thing, Spain, then you're not under our nuclear umbrella. Yeah. Tough, exactly. I genuinely think it's extraordinary that, you know, you don't get to play. Donald Trump was right back in, was it 2016, 2017, in his first term of office, saying everyone needs to spend more. They finally woken up to it. But it's smoke and mirrors, and we talked about that on the show yesterday. We're not really going to be spending 5%. There isn't the budget for it. It's an extra $40 billion a year. There ain't the money for that because we're busy paying 19-year-olds who can't get a bit of anxiety on a Wednesday morning to not go to work. We don't have that sort of money. So we're just going to pretend that we're spending it and pretend that we're committed to it, and then as and when we need to actually provide defence to our NATO allies, oh whoops, we're not going to have it.
But the problem also goes back to Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, stating last year that they weren't going to raise the 3 main taxes on individuals for the rest of this Parliament. Yeah. Now, by boxing yourself into that, you are never going to increase the revenue coming in. So how are you going to find it?
And everyone knew it was a lie. Absolutely. But this is the thing, this is where no one trusts any politicians on anything because we know they're going to lie. Yeah. But then if you say you don't want welfare reform, but you want more spending, or you do want it, or whatever, and then but not enough, and you want spending, and you want this and you want that, well, then your taxes are going to have to go up. Yeah, I mean, that's the reality. You can't have it both ways. So don't tell politicians they have to lie to you and then go, oh, they've lied to me.